Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So we got a truck coming. He's already here. So I gotta fire up the cat, get things going here. Alright, so I'm headed out to the field right now. Just about to cross the river. So we actually have the entire field opened up. And the truck that we unloaded onto was actually our second truck for this farm. At least for corn. And yeah, so it's not yielding quite as good as we were hoping, at least just based off of the drought. Or I should say, based off of what the other farm did. But it looks like the corn's getting taller and thicker the further that way you go. So hopefully it'll end up doing better, but we'll find out, I guess. The main farm is 100% done for this year. We might do a little bit of tillage on it, but most likely we're not. We're just gonna have to see how things play out for the rest of the year. But yeah, things went fairly good, and we ended up starting stock chopping here. We mostly just did the end rows, so when we turn around, we're not squishing down all the stalks into the mud. It just makes things harder for the stalk chopper to pick them up and actually chop them. So we got all that done, and then we started at our angle, and we got caught up to the combine. And when we took it up to the shop, because we were going to grease it up, we noticed there was a bearing out on one of the tires, and there's also a flat tire on one of the other tires, so we needed to get that fixed. And anyway, we ended up getting the parts. It's not fixed yet, but we're going to try and finish this combining first, and then we'll get to the stalk chopper whenever we have time. So hopefully today is a very productive day. Yesterday we had a real hard time getting trucks in because they were hauling for somebody else, which is kind of a bummer because things were rolling pretty good yesterday, but we only ended up getting one truck out. But the yields are not the best, but it is there, and we're hopeful that it'll get better. Sample is actually very clean. I know you can't tell because the window is incredibly dirty, but yeah, so hopefully today everything goes good. We get lots of trucks in, and yeah, that's about it. Alright, so I want to test the moisture on this before we empty out, see where it's at. I believe yesterday it was at 17-18%, which is pretty good. Good enough for us to roll, so we'll test it again here today. Make sure conditions aren't changing. So the way this moisture tester works is you basically just fill corn up, or whatever your grain is, fill it up to the top of the line, and then there's this little circle thing, and you just tighten it until that is flush. You can see if I loosen it here, it's not flush anymore. There's just a spring in there, and basically it just pushes it down just enough to what it needs. And then it's got these numbers here for different grains that you have. Obviously we're in corn, which is number 1, so we will set it to number 1 right there, and then it'll run for a second and then give us a number. See what it is. 19.9. Little bit high. We'll do a couple tests, just because you can take the same exact sample you did on the first one and do it again, and it can be a different number. So I always like to do at least 2 or 3 tests just to make sure it's right, or you can at least find about what the average is. So now this one's 19.1, and I'm grabbing it out of the same spot, so it's a little bit high. I'll call him here and find out, make sure he wants me to keep going. If it's higher than 20, we probably really should be done, or I should say wait a little bit, but we'll see. Alright, clean the windshield. It's a little better. Not perfect, but it's just gonna get dirty again, so. Boy, is it nice when you can see. I didn't clean this windshield yet, so you can see the difference. Need to clean these windows more often. Need to clean this one back here. That one's really bad. Alright, so I've been at it for a little while now. We almost got a cart full, and I don't know how well the camera picks this up, but the height of the corn at least is getting a lot better the further this way I get. So I'm starting to barely be able to make it to the end without filling up. The rows do get a little bit longer, but really it's not by that much. So yeah, this is a good sign for the rest of the field. And if you're wondering about the moisture thing too, we are going to keep going for now. We do have some other dry corn that we can mix in with it, bring down the average a little bit, but we'll just keep testing it every so often, and as long as it doesn't get any higher than 20, we'll be okay. So yeah.